DWI NJ Part 2. Driving while intoxicated or impaired by marijuana, other controlled dangerous substances, abbreviated as CDS, and or prescription drugs which may impair you, such as Oxycodone, Xanax, to name a few. Okay, most people get it that if you have 10 beers, you shouldn't be driving a vehicle and that you are probably going to be found guilty of driving while intoxicated. However, many people do not know that you may also not operate a vehicle lawfully, or it's unlawful, I should say, to operate a vehicle on the public roads in New Jersey if you are impaired through ingestion of many, many different kinds of drugs. Some of the more obvious drugs are marijuana, although not so obvious anymore because why? Because there's now this medical marijuana prescriptions. Or, things like, Molly or crystal meth or heroin or Valium or other benzodiazepines, Xanax, or even certain mood stabilizing drugs that you wouldn't think would be impairing, like maybe Ambien or something along those lines. Anyway, long story short, you can be charged and convicted of DWI even if you're taking a prescription drug that your doctor prescribed and you're operating the vehicle, and that drug can impair you and has impaired you. The only benefit or value you get from having a prescription from a physician is that it's not a criminal possession of CDS, controlled dangerous substance, under 2C35-10A. It still is unlawful to operate your vehicle if you're under the influence of a prescription painkiller, and it can be shown that you were impaired by being, by ingesting that. So let's go to the mechanics of this. How do they show that? Well, first of all, they usually take a urine sample and they look for the actual substance in your urine. They send it to a state police lab and they measure, for different types of, opiates or benzodiazepines or painkiller type drugs, okay, and many other kind of drugs that are illegal. Okay, so then the next thing they have to do is they have to show that even though you have a positive urine, there's a correlation between your operating the vehicle, having the drug in your urine, and also being actually impaired by the drug. So for this, the right tool is usually something called a drug recognition expert, or DRE, which is a police officer that has taken a couple of courses on what you're supposed to look like and what you're supposed to act like and how you're supposed to respond if you're under the influence of any drugs. And then they do certain balanced coordination testing, and they write up a report that says either you are impaired or you aren't impaired based on their testings and observations. This, of course, is correlated with the urine labs, as they call them, or a toxicology report that comes back from either the state police or a state lab. And then the idea is they're supposed to show that you are impaired by the drug and therefore guilty under the DWI statute of operating a vehicle while impaired. So that's it in a nutshell. If you are facing these charges, they're just as serious as alcohol DWI charges. The penalties are the same. And if you need to drive to work or you need to drive, the minimum penalty for this is a 7-month loss of license on your first DWI ever. There's no lower tier 3 months for this kind of DWI. On a second event, it's still a 2-year loss of license, possible jail, minimum 2 days, maximum 90 days. And on a third or subsequent event, it is still 6 months in prison, 10-year loss of license. So I've handled many of these, which I will talk about in a subsequent video. But if you're facing this and you need a lawyer, I'd be happy to help you. My name is Stephen A. Gravatt. My cell phone number is 732-337-7922. My email is, strike that. My website is www.njdwicriminaldefenseattorney.com. Thank you and have a nice day.